Hi, Ken. Okay, let's have a look at this next bit of speaking you're doing about a charitable organisation. Okay, it's sounding pretty good and more formal, which is great.
A dog charity organization in Taiwan. At the very first beginning, this dog organization has only one location in the capital city, Taipei. However, they eventually developed their service widespreading to many other cities in Taiwan now.
Okay, so really nice. So great, really strong start. You're explaining what it is, you're explaining where it is, and that it's spread from one place to another. So well done.
The purpose of this organization is to help homeless dogs get adopted. So I think we can see this clearly that it is a dog shelter.
Yeah, well done. So make sure you're really clear on that explaining. It's a dog shelter. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, really good. Well done.
Like other dog shelters, maybe only open a day or a few to let people get in and find their dogs by first impression, in which I don't think is quite a good way to find a good match.
Okay, so I love how you're explaining it with so much detail. I would say I don't think this is the best way to find a match. Yeah, obviously you don't have long, do you?
In comparing to it, this dog shelter, they actually
Okay, so rather than in comparing to it, go in contrast. Keep it really clear. In contrast, and then comma, sort of thing.
provide a astonishingly brilliant way is that they run a dog cafe.
Okay, I like this. Okay, so Ken, on the pronunciation, I can understand what you're talking about because I've heard you before. But what you need to make sure about is that your words, your pronunciation is incredibly clear. What's happening is that some of your words are running together quite a lot. So sometimes it's quite hard for me to identify each actual word. The way to practice this is to take a few sentences and to speak really, really slowly. And I promise you it will make a big difference. So to slow yourself down and also to open your mouth. In English, when we speak, we really have to move our mouth. It can be quite tiring talking a lot because we're moving our jaw and we're moving our muscles. So really get used to that idea. Practice on your own. It seems a bit weird if you practice that with your friends. Just practice on your own, but open your mouth and see what a difference that makes.
Therefore, customers like us who wanted to adopt a dog,
So customers. Yeah, it sounds like culture. So customers.
can spend more time to play with those homeless dogs
Nice.
and figure out who is our best match. In my opinions, it is really great.
So in my opinion, not opinions, in my opinion. Okay, it's just one of them here.
They let people spending money for drinks or food in a
Okay, they let people money. I would spend money. I would say they encourage people to spend money. So either let people spend, not let people spending, not that one. So encourage people to spend money. Yeah, purchasing drinks, good.
cafe. Thus, the income will become the funds to help dogs also pay the bills for their organization.
Good.
In return, the charity can actually last a longer terms compared to another organization.
Okay, so as a result, whatever, the charity will be able to, let's go into the future rather than can be able to, the charity will be able to be more efficient, be able to survive longer than, nice structure here.
Maybe always have to rely on people's donation. So I think they are really smart. Thank you for listening.
Well done, thanks Ken. So when you say I think they're really smart, it was so strong, but finished formally. So rather than I think that's why they're smart, remember the question talks about why you admire them. So you could say, this is why I'm a keen supporter, or this is why I recommend this charity, or this is why I'm impressed by this charity. Okay, so you've done a really nice piece of work there. That is absolutely much more what we need. So the main thing I think I would recommend you there is just have a little listen on the pronunciation. Try and work really on the clarity of some of those important words. Let's check out your part 3. So what we're going to be looking at here is giving your opinion, but in a more, what I call sort of general and global way. So keeping your answer more abstract and less personal than part 2. And then these are some of the ways you could do that. So let's have a look here. So how can people ensure work does not control their lives is the first one.
I believe it's a dilemma to many of the middle-aged generations now.
Good. A dilemma 4. Yeah, but well done.
And the way to prevent work to cause our life, just like many commentators suggest that people should to say no bravely in...
Right, careful, we never use should to. With a modal verb like should or would or could or might or may, you just have the straight infinitive. So you should work harder, you should study more, you should relax and not check your emails at night. Yeah, that sort of thing. Have to is different because have to already has to in there. Yeah, so but you have to get up early in the morning. But with the should and the would and the could, you don't have to.
Many different situations. For example, it has been said that most of the situation about overworking is due to the undefined working hours. So the undefined working hours is sort of like that people replied work message until the very late of night during...
Okay, watch out, that's very hard to understand, that little run, okay? Practice it again. You know what you want to say, but just practice it really clearly so that the examiner can hear exactly your words. I love undefined working hours, but you could just simply say, which means that people are available 24/7.
Their personal time. So just think about people have to wake up in the middle of the night to reply their boss's message. Isn't it like a very terrible experience?
Okay, so stop there. You don't get too long on these ones. It's not the same as the part 2. You've made your points, yeah, and then you need to stop, and the examiner will move to the next question. So this is much shorter.
To my opinions, technology gives us convenience, but also at the same time it's killed our continuous personal space. It's not worth it. It doesn't look like there is any particular reason for people to work longer hours in the future.
Good.
Why?
Now, if you listen to that was really clear. That was really easy to understand. That was good.
The technology had replaced most of the repetitive tasks. Generally, follow the improvements of technology, like industrialization, that human had improved our life quality and set up.
Right. Now, let human improve our life quality. Careful here. Has improved our life quality, or has let humans improve their life quality. Careful on the grammar coming in here. Keep it simple, Ken, and then you don't need to worry about the grammar. You can just worry about the pronunciation.
Or quantities of time. My image of the future of human society should be look like AI running the...
Right. Again, should be, not should be look like, should look like. So that's a very important thing to remember.
World. For instance, like the Robots Hotel in Tokyo, they demonstrated that simple tasks such as check-in service can be replaced by robots. Or even more, a bit higher skills but also repetitive, like cooking, it's also possible to be robotic.
Okay, a passport to be robotic? You mean it's more likely to be robotic or could become robotic? So careful here. You've kind of got away from the question and you've got into something quite long.
So I truly wish one day people will only cost a bit of time on working, but spending most of their time to do their interest.
Okay, and Ken, watch out. No personal opinion. So this is very formal. This is quite abstract, this one. You can use an example once in a while, but if we go back to here, general and global. So try and keep it abstract. If you have an amazing example, you could say, for example, but it's not really about you particularly, okay?
It is definitely that workers need to be well educated of using technology equipment in the next decade. Globally now in this area, there's already a lot of job positions required workers to manage many different type of machines. To myself, I am also learning to be a half cyber.
Okay, so so for me, not to myself, so for me,
Even I am not an IT professional.
so even if I'm not an IT professional, if even doesn't work, but even if you mean, okay, I'm finding it a little bit hard to understand.
This is a trend I think of this world that if people cannot catch up the ship to learn how to manage it.
Okay, sorry, I pressed pause, but you were still going, so let's just pick it up.
Accountants for 10 or 20 years. But in her generation, there's no any software like
Okay, there wasn't any software, so be really careful, because I think what's happening, Ken, is because you're speaking a lot, you're making more mistakes. So I would strongly recommend you keep your answers much shorter and try and make them really accurate.
There or PowerPoint, but just a DOS system for just typing some simple data.
Okay.
However, compared to the accountant students now, I trust they not only need to pick up Excel, but even more maybe like coding, a bit of coding abilities too. So this is clearly shows that all workers should learn how to use their tools, technology, while this world evolution is so quickly.
Okay, good answer there. So you've got so much information in that answer, which is fantastic. But I would just simplify the whole thing. So, for example, you could say this question: how essential will it be? And I would start off saying something like, much comment focuses on the advance of technology nowadays and how important it will be for workforces to use these, for example, to learn coding, to be to be confident to compete with some of the artificial intelligence that is around. So you could say something like, already many workforces have received special training in how to operate advanced systems. And in school, children are learning coding because this is considered to be part of the future. So you can see in that answer that I'm keeping it quite abstract. I'm not using any personal example, but I'm talking about school and I'm talking about the future. So I'm trying to keep my answer probably 3 sentences, something like that. So good effort there. Let's just do one more. You have one more left, and I'll send you a few more part 3 questions. Well done, Ken.
This is a great question.